Put this back on.
Off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I've been saying this for 1,333 shows, and they just told me that Stitcher's no longer on the list, so I'm trying to adjust my opening, and it's not easy. So here we go. On streaming everywhere on iHeartRadio, Spotify, no Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. And why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So I have topics and guests to that end, and co-hosts especially to that end. And today is Friday, so it is time for Straight Talk with myself and
Ricky Rebel.
And he is here in studio today. For those of you who don't know who he is, where have you been? But he is an amazing, I've got her up here, Billboard Top 40 recording artist, as seen on tour with Britney Spears. He's been a Grammy member since 2017, part of the voting member for the Recording Academy. He's discovered by Michael Jackson, signed to his label on Sony, and later signed to Madonna's record label, Maverick Records. Please welcome back to my studio, my fabulous co-host, Ricky Rebel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
How are you, my love?
I am happy and grateful, and we have a special guest, and I'm going to introduce her now. Her name is Sherry Lee, and she's the Senior Publicist and Owner of the GTK PR Agency, which specializes in tailored PR strategies, connections to over 8,000 media outlets, and expertise in managing red carpets. And most importantly, a devoted mother and wife. In addition to PR, Sherry is also an engineer in the space industry, a producer bringing creative projects to life, and now an actress stepping into the spotlight. Please welcome to our studio, Sherry Lee.
Thank you so much for having me today.
It's so wonderful to finally meet you. Sherry and I spoke on the phone very briefly, or actually, I overheard her call with someone else a year ago. And that was in Las Vegas. And it was not a pretty call. And I immediately trauma bonded with her because she was taking all of the heat. And I was like, wow. That the fact that she didn't hang up the phone, I was like, I like her already because she has that cool. And then come to find out that she was Ricky's publicist. And so I have been, she's been in the periphery. I've been trying to call her for the last 2 months, and my life has been just a challenge. But, my bonus mom is in hospice now. And so it's not a fun time. I'm learning all kinds of things I didn't know about sundowning and terminal agitation, which brings out the worst in you. And so I just know that you're both going to hold me up right now. It's been a rough morning. So, but the show must go on. And I definitely wanted to talk to you, Sherry, not just about what you do, but I've been meaning to have this conversation to see what we could do together. So we're going to use the show as also what you've done for Ricky and highlight you, but also talk about PR and Hollywood. And Ricky's my expert on Hollywood. So that's what we're doing today. Welcome to the show. And we've already got the Cashew Gallery in here. AJ is going to be the captain of our Cashew Gallery. He is I guess one of the top rebels in your group, I would say.
If not the, yes.
If not the, okay. I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure. I know you have a lot of lovers, especially on our, well, sorry, Patrick, not that kind of lover, but but Ricky, how do we start the show every day here, or when I'm with you and every day with me?
We do a gratitude practice.
So we do breakfast. So breakfast is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. I purposely did not warn you, Sherry, because we do this spontaneously, and we talk about what we're grateful for. That's the top of the bun. And on the bottom of the bun, because I like it on the bottom and it's Friday and I can talk like this, we talk about gratitude turned inwards. I also call it appreciation, following Abraham Hicks' law of attraction. So we do this instead of talking about the headlines, because most of the headlines, if not all, are negative. And I want this show to be balancing out all that negativity. And people said my show wouldn't last a year, and 668 or 9 consecutive weeks later, I'm still here. So obviously, I've got enough support to be positive, and really, there's a lot to be positive about. So, Ricky, why don't you start? What are you grateful for outside of yourself?
Outside of myself, I am going to say, let's see, my cats, number one. They, it always comes down to the cats, the little angels. My beautiful shout out to Willow, my ragdoll, and Max, my Maine Coon. They gave me so much joy, sent from God, and
Fabulous.
just a gift from God. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
We're going to jump to AJ. He's grateful to wake up another day, grateful for his hobbies, Ricky Rebel, and my cat, Dusty.
Oh, thank you, AJ. I love you. Appreciate that.
I'm grateful for the 16 beautiful years that I have had a surrogate mom and dad or bonus mom and dad who have showed me unconditional love that I didn't grow up with. So I am grateful for that. Dolores and Graham, they're 95 and 92, married 74 years, and they still hold hands and smooch.
Oh, they love each other.
They do. They do. Tough time for my dad. All right. Sherry, what are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for everything that I have in my life. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my clients, where I'm at, even the bad things that happen in my life. I'm grateful because they show you, something else to go to.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for God, how he's really helped me in this industry, because I've worked for the military. I've worked for, Space Force in the industry. So I never thought I would be in the entertainment industry. So I'm grateful for everything that he's given me.
Fantastic. And let's go to the bottom of the bun. And the bottom of the bun is, well, actually, I also use this to catch up with Ricky. He's not allowed to tell me anything during the week because I want it to be fresh. But I'm going to be grateful on your behalf that you got to go and be on the carpet at the Grammys, and that was huge and beautiful. Not to say you deserve to be there, but I just really enjoyed seeing all of that B-roll of you, strutting and turning and all of that. So
thank you.
I think that's a great thing to be grateful for.
I love you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Of course.
We have a special announcement, Dr. Marissa. I think Sherry and I can tell you now. We could present it. I'm grateful that I'm going to be inducted into the American Entertainment Music Hall of Fame.
Wow!
It's really cool.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's amazing. I'm glad I extended the top of the bun.
I shared it with you. I shared you a photo. We just found out recently.
This is so amazing.
Hall of Fame announces star-studded 2025 induction ceremony.
Wow, that is so cool. Wait, when is that? Am I invited?
You're definitely invited. You must come.
When is that?
It's in Temecula. It's on April 13th. You can get your tickets at the link below, and I'm going to post it all over social media. I would love it if you could come. Absolutely.
Yes, I will definitely put that on my calendar.
It's going to be a special day. I think I'm the youngest person to ever be inducted.
Wow.
There are a lot of Grammy Award winners, producers, writers, singers, and Leanne Rimes was inducted at one point, and William Shatner.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I shared a stage with him.
Really?
I did. We spoke at the Kodak Theater for Wells Fargo. I was a motivational speaker for that event. He was, and Maria Shriver's brother, Mark Shriver, and the nicest compliment from the executive who who hired me was that of that day of the 3 speakers, I was the most memorable, which was very nice compared to Captain Kirk. But he was kind. I saw him again at the Newport Beach Film Festival 2 years ago, and he remembered me. Well, at least he said he remembered me, but this was a long time ago. So there's my connection story.
I love it.
But
Yeah.
this is amazing. Hall of Fame, star-studded, Ricky Rebel. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, my love. I'll be performing there as well.
Yay!
Don't give up on me. I'm gonna don't give up on me.
As you should. I love that song.
Thank you.
We should probably close out with it again. We haven't heard that in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Well Deserved is from the Cashew Gallery and AJ, which is really great.
Thank you.
All
AJ.
right. And then since, also, let's see. I forgot about this. This is out of Beverly Hills. It's the ACCA Journal, and that's Prince Mario Max. I don't know if you know him, but he's been on the show before. But look what's in the middle.
Hey, congrats.
Hey.
So I featured an article on happiness. I'm the columnist this year for them.
That's a great magazine. It looks really stylish. What's it called?
It's called the ACCA Journal. In fact,
Nice.
I'm going to introduce you guys because you probably could be a feature too.
Amazing. That'd be great. Thank you.
We'll have to talk to your publicist.
Oh yeah, we will.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is it's weightlifting. I want people to know how fabulous they are 88% of the time. No one's perfect. I'm fabulous 12% of the time I step into it. But what's happened, Sherry, is with all this attention to mental health and worthiness, a lot of people are turning to things and people outside of themselves to feel better. They're literally looking for who likes me on social media, literally. And that's a very slippery and not solid foundation. So loving yourself and appreciating yourself, I believe, is the foundation for good mental health. And that's why we do this. Ricky has come so far because I'm sure you know he's really hard on himself, very perfectionistic, which is good to get a lot of stuff down and done. But at the end of the day, if you're beating yourself up, you're not going to get a good night's sleep. So I'm so proud of him. He's like really embraced this kicking and screaming as an exercise with me. But and just to prove it, I'm going to make him start. What do you like about yourself, Ricky?
You put me on the spot.
I am.
I'm proud of what I love about myself. I love my bold side, my bold spirit, right, the fearlessness that comes out every now and then. My favorite part of myself.
Fantastic. And I appreciate my ability to breathe and just really be in the present, which is a gift, and see incredible things around me, like birds flying in formation, like
I saw that post you did.
I was sitting at the light and I was like, that's a sign for me, like synchronous numbers. When I see synchronous numbers, that the universe is smiling at me. Same with flowers and dolphins and stuff like that. So I appreciate my ability to notice things like that. All right, Sherry, what do you like about yourself?
I like that I have patience at times when I'm dealing with people's personalities. And it took a while to get there too, So, and I've told my clients, anytime that you're dealing with people, always be positive. Never post anything on your social media that can look negative, because people don't want to look at that. Like you see like you mentioned today in the news, there's all this negative. So they look to social media to get a lift.
Okay.
So they're looking at their favorite, like Ricky Revel. And he's always so gracious on his social media.
Thank you.
Yes, he is.
And I know that there are, we call them haters out there.
Yeah.
And you always just need to be kind to them because they hate that.
And
Don't they?
that's
Sherry.
Kind is the
that's
word.
an oxymoron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you definitely demonstrated that the first time I met you, that I didn't even know it was you, because you were getting just reamed up one side and the other on the phone. I'm like, I can't believe she's still there receiving this. But now I understand, is you just allow.
Well, I don't want it to look bad on my clients either, because what I do reflects to them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do anything that would cause any of my clients to look bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm always got that in the back of my mind.
Yeah. You
really want to say something sometimes, but it's better not to.
Right. Yeah. And through that, I don't know if you know this, if Ricky told you, that was the first thing she did, was the screaming at you over the phone in the convention center in Las Vegas. The end of that story is she got kicked out and escorted out by security. And she had stole something from the executive lounge, apparently. And she's now banned from NAB and from the convention center. So just so you know, you had the beginning of that. And as you earlier said as well, that no matter how bad something is, there's always something good that comes out of it. And you're looking at it right now, which is I got to meet Ricky. And it was such a trauma bonding, fabulous experience, because he's now, so important to me. I love him. He loves me. And this is like a relationship forged by trauma, and it will last forever. And we're very different too. Our views on a lot of things are. And so I get some heat from my people, like, how could you have him as a co-host because of his politics? And we don't talk about politics or religion here, but he's a great example of how you can differ on something really, really in the forefront right now and still love each other, because our love transcends our politics. And I think that's a great example for, what's going on right now, that people are, divorcing their friends because of that, but you don't need to. You just don't talk about it, and you love them. And it's so wonderful. Every time we're on, we're that visual example of that.
Yeah, I had a traumatic event that happened to us and my family, about 16 years ago. And everything just changed my perspective on everything. So I don't let politics or religion make me not like someone. Everyone has their opinion, and you're not going to change their opinion.
Right.
Just love them because they're your friends, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you shouldn't try to change them.
That is correct. AJ appreciates his ability to always get through any struggle he's dealing with. Fantastic. I love the way that you participate in breakfast. Thank you, AJ. And Patricia, at some point, welcome to the show. Said good for you. So we'll take that as a compliment. I see people putting up hearts. They're also giving us the finger. Not that finger, but this finger. I got her, Ricky. Ricky's used to me saying that, so he doesn't flinch at all. So, except one time, was it on with you, Ricky, where I almost put up that finger?
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And just in case, we're under FCC. I forgot to tell you, Sherry. I'm sure you don't swear. And like Ricky, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you do. But I get a fine of $20,000 if we don't catch it. So That's the FCC regulation. So Ricky owes me 2 shopping trips already.
Yeah, I'm getting hot under the collar.
Literally. Speaking of which, look at the way we match. So we did not plan
you
this.
two, yeah, you two look
Ricky
great.
and I have always matched every single show without talking to each other. And now we have 3, and look at the match.
Oh, you're right.
A perfect match.
Interesting.
I love my life.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is
I
it
love
for-
your coat, by the way. I love your coat.
That's the
green.
one I tried to
Mhm.
show you a long time
green.
ago. It's a dress.
It's a dress.
Yeah, it has a personality disorder. It doesn't know whether it's a dress or a jacket.
That's so cool.
It is well, I can't stand up now, but I'll show you later. Let's see. That's it for breakfast. Thank you for
Yay.
joining us. I hope that you continue this good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline, for the next 28 days to create that good habit. Gratitude in the morning and appreciation at night before you go to bed, so that you can have the best day and night ever. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Everything is awesome. What is the topic for today, Ricky?
The topic of the day is Straight Talk with Ricky Rebel and Dr. Marissa and PR expert Sherry Lee.
Public relations, PR. It is one of those like advertising, kind of intangible. You know it's got to happen, especially if you're in Hollywood. Now, PR also seems to be important for anyone who is in that status of influencer or has some expertise in anything. Media is no longer restricted to prime time. How things have changed since just ABC, NBC, Fox. Right? We've got an entire YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers. We've got so many places that our people are. And that is me. I thought I turned that stuff off. But, Amber Alerts, I guess, continue. But speak to us. In particular me, because I've never had a publicist. I've never had an agent.
That's
I've
shocking.
never had a manager. And
Really?
lately, yes. And I was just told twice in 2 days that I am a multi-hyphenate, which I was like, is that an insult? And they said, no, it's a compliment, because I do motivational speaking. I'm a #1 best-selling author. I'm a corporate psychologist. I am a filmmaker. I am all these things. What makes me a multi-hyphenate. So for the first time, I am looking at what do I need. So PR is definitely an area. Ricky and I have talked about it, just simply so I can hang out with him and go to the same events. Right? We were talking about that earlier. So tell me about this landscape that I know nothing about.
Well, it's changed since COVID for sure.
Oh, okay.
It has. A lot has changed. The way that we used to pitch our clients, to get into events, to get publications. A lot of your staffers that work in these publications that you usually just could ask them to do, well, then they had to work from home to be freelancers. So a lot is pay to play, and I hate that word.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate it. I hate it, but I understand it, because they have to make a living now. That they had to do something different prior to COVID. Everything has changed, even, going to these red carpets now. Getty is not present to a lot of these because, they're going to different avenues. They don't have the money to bring Getty in because they're so expensive now.
Wow. You have to pay Getty to come to your events?
Some. I
Okay.
mean, you can reach out to Getty, which I do,
Uh-huh.
and I'll send them a list of people who are going to attend. And sometimes they'll come for free, but they're like any other business. They have to make money,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So I don't just do PR for actors and musicians. I do it for businesses. I do it for people in the industry that are UX, UI,
Mhm.
you know, that those apps that are editors, that are directors, I'm even working with law firms now to help get publications for their visas. You know, you have to kind of expand now. I'm doing public relations for films. One of them, Marriage Bites, that's coming out pretty soon. It's a comedy horror, you know, and so I've just expanded on what I do. You have to learn to move with the industry because
Yeah.
it changes every single day.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for Los Angeles because that has been Hollywood. You know, you think of LA in the Hollywood era. I always think of Lucille Ball, you know, because I loved watching I Love Lucy,
Mhm.
you know, during that time.
You know,
And
I've interviewed her daughter, and
Oh,
she's coming back on. Lucy
really?
Arnaz. Uh-huh.
She is like, one person you'd want to meet. It would have to have been Lucille Ball.
Okay. I'll let her
You
know.
know, I love that. You know, the Art Deco, if you think of the 1940s and how Hollywood used to be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now everything is leaving Los Angeles and going to Texas, Oklahoma, Atlanta, New York. It's expanding, even the UK now. So much has happened in Los Angeles with the strike, with the fires.
Oh, yeah.
And you're seeing them go to Las Vegas and take their studios to Vegas. So now it's just open territory for everybody. Anybody can be an actor.
Right. Right. I just had a side thought. Ricky, wouldn't we have had a blast in that era?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean,
I
I
love that.
I just got visions of us, you know, because our fashionista style, you know, that Erte style, almost the Greco. Yeah. I see it.
Back in the day, you had to not only act, but you had to sing and dance.
Yes.
You had to be very multi-talented. So
Yes.
it kind of weeded out a lot of the competition.
Yes.
You know, because some people can either sing and they can't really dance very well, and then some
Right.
people can act, but they can't really dance very well or sing.
Yes.
So you know, back in that era, it's kind of cool because they had to be everything.
Right. Right. Yeah.
They had to
Absolutely.
do it all.
So, how did you find Sherry?
I met Sherry. How did we meet Sherry?
I think we met through a mutual client, and I invited you to my Oscar viewing, and I brought a little Southern with me at that viewing because I didn't want it to be a stale party.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we did games after the viewing.
Right.
Dr. Marissa. We did what we call a saran ball. I don't know if you've ever heard about it.
No.
But we put these numbers in this huge saran ball, and we just keep wrapping it. And I use a hair dryer, so it's harder. So you have all these people at a table, and they're rolling dice, and they have to roll a double, and they get to pull, you know, try to rip this ball apart to get these numbers. And I had all these gifts.
Aw. I'm definitely going to a party.
Actually, I still use this gift I got there.
No way.
Yeah.
What is it?
We had about 80 gifts, and everybody got a gift, pretty much.
How fun.
So it was just fun.
It was
And
fun.
it really got people talking, and I've always wanted mine to be more like a family.
Yeah.
Everybody, and I've always said this, everybody should be supporting everybody. if you're not supporting Ricky or you're not supporting my other clients, then you don't need to be here. You know, I always wanted that to be like a family.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be.
That's definitely
that really attracted me to Sherry.
right.
That aspect. She wanted it to be a family. It was a very different experience than I've ever had with any other PR agency or PR agent. And we had a lot of fun. And I also really admired Sherry's intelligence, being that when I found out she worked for Space Force and whatnot. And then her friends are basically, they're basically, what do you call it? The smartest people. What are the smartest people in the world? We always say, "Oh, you're
Mensa."
No, like you're a rocket scientist.
Rocket scientist.
I'm like, oh, my PR agent is like a literal rocket scientist.
And my friend Gigi adored you. Gigi's about
Gigi.
4'9", and she looks like
the cutest thing in the whole world. She is a little firecracker, a little fireball, and another rocket scientist. And you know this, Dr. Marissa. I get along very well with intellectually, powerful people. Like my husband, for instance, like
right,
12 years, who's a doctor in psychology. I get along with people like that because there's a logic behind what they're doing. They're not just doing it out of emotion. The things that Sherry Lee was talking about. Sherry, you were talking about why you do not be negative. There's a reason behind all of it. It's not just like you're trying to be nice, for instance. It's like, no, this is like a business. This is like
a strategy,
a logical strategy as to why we're doing what we're doing. And the family aspect is also a part of that. There's like a logical reason why we need to band together in order to succeed. It's a very logical process. It's not just emotional. And so that's why I connect with her very well. I can see that, the intelligence.
Yeah, I know. Rocket scientist, space agency, and more. We'll be right back. We need to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic, but don't go away. Chuck Woolery used to say, we'll be back in 2 and 2. It'll be shorter than that. It's a peace in and peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel. Please free subscribe, give us the finger, and you'll get an alert every weekday morning when I come at you with not headlines, but heartlines. So delighted to have you can see he's in studio. That means it's Friday. Every other Friday is Ricky Rebel, my fabulous co-host with the mostest. And today we have a very special guest, is his publicist, Sherry Lee. Welcome back to the show. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you were my publicist and knowing what you do about me, what would you do? Because one of the things that you do is tailored PR, which I thought was pretty cool. And you see someone like me doing what I'm doing and, all over the place. If you Google Asian Oprah, you'll see. What would you do for me? Let's just put it that way. I put the moose on the table.
Drop it.
Yeah, where is it? There it is. Okay. So, Sherry, I was born in Canada, so we don't talk about the elephant in the room. We put the moose on the table. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why.
Got it. So last night I Googled you. And I looked at all of the stuff on social media, and I noticed you have a lot of interviews, like video interviews, but you don't have a lot of articles, I've noticed. I mean, big interviews on Fox, which was amazing.
Thank you. Are you talking about the Women's History Month special?
I looked at your 2019
That's okay. That's
Fox interview, and I looked at your 2020 interview with CBS. But entertainment, because there is so much on mental health now.
Mm.
You know, there is, and people don't even realize.
Mhm.
Actors, you know, there's a lot of stress there for actors.
Yeah.
This business is really, really hard. And when I first got into it, I got into it from my son. He is an actor. And he had a lot of bullying, and it wasn't the actors, it was the mothers that was doing it. And that is so sad to me as being a mother, because even that I see people he, you know, goes up against, I support them. Why would you not do that for a child? You know? And I see a lot of that going on. But so I made a strategy for you.
Oh, cool.
I love your book. I downloaded it last night on Audible so I could listen to it when I drive.
Aw.
But I think it would be great to do virtual book tours for your book.
Wow.
You know, workshops. You traveling to the Southeast Atlanta, where there's a lot of actors there too, who have this, and do interactive campaigns, I think would be great. I think hitting more of the entertainment publications for those actors, because reading your book inspired me.
Aw.
It really did. I
Thank
had
you.
a traumatic event that happened to our family 16 years ago, and it changed my outlook on everything. It really did. We had a home invasion. You know, I was tied up. I was held at gunpoint.
Oh my gosh.
And my son was 3 years old at the time.
Wow.
And nobody would take him. No psychologist would take him because he was so young. But I finally found one, and it was a child therapy where he could act out the feelings that was happening to him that he couldn't explain.
Wow.
And that's how he kind of got into acting. You know, we lived at the time in Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City, you know.
Your accent is, I keep meaning to comment on the Southern.
People ask me about that, and I tell them I'm from Southern California.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
That's kind of how we got into the business.
Okay.
And that's why I said, I feel even like negative things that come into your life is a positive.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that traumatic event caused PTSD for me, because for me being out with my son, I was so stressed.
Right.
Like being at the mall, just me and him, or at night.
Yeah.
It stressed me out, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And when we drove home, I would stay in the car until my husband got home.
Yeah.
You know, just locked in a car.
So definitely a topic that you're saying would be of value now, is what I'm hearing, to go and highlight that. Now, I do travel to speak with the book. I was in 4 continents last year. So I do enjoy the thing that you said about virtual is sticking in me a little bit, because I'm not happy that I don't get to even now as a motivational speaker talk about things changing. And you were talking about the pay to play. I used to get I was a $15,000 speaker. So there's different levels. There's 5, 10, 15, 20, or sorry. And then it goes to 25. So I was at a 15,000 per gig. And then COVID happened. Everything went away. And I'm lucky if I get 5,000 now.
Yes.
And now what's worse is people will say, I want you to speak. I'm giving you this award, and this is how much you pay to play. And I'm like, what? I had literally 5 different people reach out to me just as
the opposite.
You won this award, and it's $1,099 to come and get it. Or
Everybody
we're
is
giving
struggling.
you the this award. I have so many awards that I didn't have to pay for, and I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
start. So
Mm-hmm.
I may go down with the ship on this one, but I refuse to pay to
Mm-hmm.
speak on stage on something that I've been paid for before. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate selling from stage. I don't want to sell. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to talk to you because you want to know about personal mastery, happiness, leadership, success. Those are the things that I talk about.
Right.
So,
Right.
so did I just fire myself from PR?
No. No, you did not. I mean, I'll be honest, and I hope Ricky don't mind me saying this, but even in the music business, I think we've seen that too. Because I've had events that they've requested Ricky to come to, and they wanted to trade services. Oh, we'll do a press release for you if you'll perform for us.
Mm.
That had never happened prior to COVID. Everybody is struggling. Those years that we were sitting,
Mm.
at home and not getting out, everybody was struggling financially.
Mm.
How do you make up all of those years?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen this. I
Yeah.
just seen it with another one of my clients. She charges, let's just say, $10,000 to perform, and they asked her to pay $5,000 to come. I'm like, what?
Asked her to pay.
Pay to play. And I've seen these actors who are just desperate, that want to be in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's their happy place. That's how they feel the best. I mean, my son, all he wants to do is be on set.
Yeah.
And I can see a complete change in him when he's on set.
Yeah.
He is in his element.
Yeah.
Right.
So
What is the advice for people who are wanting to break into or wanting to? So, is it how tantamount is it to have someone do PR for you? What's the downside of not having a PR person?
Well, the downside of not having a PR person, for me, I even help my clients find talent agents and managers. I pitch them. I do what you call an EPK, an electronic press kit, and I will pitch them. And I've gotten just this month 3 of my clients with new managers. And they are so happy. They are getting roles that they never got before.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference between a manager, an agent, and a PR person, publicist?
Okay. A publicist promotes you. We promote you to get a name, for people to know who you are, what you do. Publication, finding that niche, for us to introduce you to a talent agent. A talent agent submits you for roles. That's all that they do, is submit you for roles.
What if you are a multi-hyphenate, though, and you have different areas? Are there agents and managers for people who don't just do one thing?
Yes, there's literary. You're an author. You should have a literary agent. You should have an appearance agent. You should have an agent supporting your show here. You should have an agent finding you people to come to your show, and you not having to do all that legwork.
Ricky, I'm getting tired because I'm realizing
you're doing all the
how much
legwork.
work I've been doing.
Welcome to my life, Dr. Marissa. Welcome to my world.
I know, but it's like maybe it's the control freak, a recovering control freak thing.
You're Leo,
too,
Leo.
because in 5 planets, people ask me all the time, "Who does your PR? I want to hire her or him." And I say, "Thank you very much. I'll pass on the compliment." But she's really busy with her one client because that's me.
I think what how you would benefit, Dr. Marissa, with representation in PR is getting invited to events and being able to get in a room with people and network with them. Because I think when people meet you in person, they're gonna, they automatically fall in love with you like they do with me. So we need those opportunities to be seen and to get out of our house. And Sherry is wonderful at facilitating those opportunities. I think that's, for me, one of the greatest things. We've gotten in publications together, which I am very grateful for. But we also go, a lot of the events that I get invited to are because of Sherry Lee's.
That's what I want to do for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
push for that. Yeah.
For sure. That, I mean, that to me is enough to just to go be able to.
Period. And then
party,
that's when you
party
meet
with,
other producers, and you meet other people who do booking, who
networking
do,
is the key.
you network like crazy, and you meet
Yeah.
other people in the industry, and that's how you build and grow and be a part of the community more.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I tell my clients, going to these events is not getting on the red carpet. It's the experience of networking, meeting other people, because that could lead to something else.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have a screenplay now. This is another project called Life by a Thousand Cuts. And I wrote in a part that's perfect for Aquafina. And I started this last year, and nobody had any connection to Aquafina that I knew of. And so I just have been like, just knowing that whenever it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. I go to a birthday party
A random
of one of my co-hosts, the other one of Straight Talk, and I'm sitting next to this guy who's a casting director, filmmaker, and I mentioned it, and he goes, "Oh, I can get it to her." I'm like,
That's amazing.
yeah, that's my life. I have a #1 Amazon national best-selling book, Sherry Lee. I have no literary agent. So how does that happen? So that's why I'm saying, like, I have a UPS man, my universal power source. He delivers every morning when I meditate. And so I know the fun is these accidental things, or #accidental, not accidental, right? That's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that there isn't room to get out of your comfort zone. I heard you, Ricky. Get out of your comfort zone and do things and be, around. So I look forward to following up this with you, Sherry, because now I'm convinced that, I need to do
We
that.
can go together. We can have fun together.
Yeah, no. For that,
And then I'll be able to take content of you, and you can take content of me.
like we did at the convention center Comic-Con. That was
help each
really
other.
fun.
Oh,
That was really fun.
Help each other.
But Sherry, how do people get a hold of you if they are interested in following up?
they can find me on Instagram at GTK PR Talent, or they can email me at gtkprtalent@gmail.com.
All right. There you
Wonderful.
go. You heard it right there. And Leo, I saw this. Is this Baldoni lively drama really just PR? I'm not quite sure I understand that comment, but
Oh, I think it
wanted
has to
to
do with
put it
Blake Lively.
oh, what's
They're fighting allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
it's getting a lot of hype for their movie. So he's trying to ask if they're doing it on purpose, or if
And
it
you know,
really
that makes me
real deal.
sad because the movie has got such a good message, such a great message, and we don't need to lose sight of what that message was.
This is what happens when you don't listen to the news on
Yeah.
purpose.
And you see all this drama, and a lot of both sides PR kind of constructed a lot of that negativity, and I don't like that. I don't want people to lose sight of what's really important.
Yeah.
And seeing the domestic violence, I cried watching that movie, and I had to stop it. I had to stop it, and then I had to go back to it because it brings you down a little bit, but then it makes you think there's so many people out there struggling with that.
For sure.
And I think all this negative PR around the Blake Lively, and I loved her, and I love Ryan Reynolds, and I love the director, Justin, and I think we don't need to lose sight of what's really important. and
the
it's
art,
domestic
the art
violence.
itself. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
of what that message of what that film really was.
Right.
Do you think it was manufactured PR? That's an interesting question.
I don't know if it.
I don't
think
know.
some of the PR was really hyped it up more, being negative, and I don't like that kind of PR. You know, they say even negative PR is good, and I don't
agree with that.
I don't like that, and I don't agree with that.
I don't think so either. After everything I've been through.
Yeah, and I just don't like the negative PR. I think if you live in that negative PR, you can start becoming that negative.
Mm-hmm.
And your
attracting.
personality changes. And I've seen that so much with other talents, you know, that are just so desperate, you know, and you don't need to be desperate. Your talent will eventually, you just have to wait till your time is right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
I have a question for Ricky, actually, and you, but I've always been curious because, you know, at the beginning of your career as an actor or in music and wanting to be known and covered and paid attention to and highlighted, and then after a certain level of notoriety or fame, then they become angry with the same people who want, you know, you originally wanted them to pay attention to you. And now it's like, leave me alone, like, leave us alone. And to the point of, you know, punching photographers, or the worst example of this was Princess Diana, you know, and that chase from the paparazzi. So what are your views on that in particular? And I'll start with Ricky.
I think that every artist knows what they're getting into when they're asking for the same thing. Basically, we're asking for an audience. We thrive on being able to share our gifts to the world, and the more people possible that can benefit from that, or can be in the audience at that time to witness it, or to be moved, touched, and inspired by our work. That's what we're trying to do. So any artist out there that's saying, well, I don't want fans, or I don't want, you know, the attention, is, I think there's something kind of not necessarily authentic about that. So what I think is, you reach a certain level, and then you actually step into those shoes, and it's a lot different than what you expected, right? It's a lot, especially when you get into the really, really higher levels of fame, and it is very intense. The most I ever experienced of that was like in 2019. I was like the number 4 most Googled Latino on the planet at that time. I didn't know Sherry back then. I wish I did. You could have helped me through it, because it was a very stressful situation. Because all you're basically under a microscope, you're being analyzed. And I think when actors tend to be very sensitive, singers are very sensitive people. They kind of crumble under all of that scrutiny. And yeah, so to answer your question, to answer your question, I think it just comes with the territory.
Yeah, that's my view as well, is that you really can't complain about all that attention, because that's part of the journey, or that's part of being an actor or a musician. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Sherry, we have 2 minutes.
Well, there's 2 sides to that, you know, everybody wants to make it. And then they always want to be on the red carpet meeting these, but then after they get there, they're not as humble as I see a lot that need to be. And I always stress that to my clients and my son, you know, paparazzi, you know, the Getty, everybody. When you see them, be gracious to them, be humble to them, you know, because they are who really made you, who you are in the eye. And then your fans. And my son, was always answering his Instagram. He was like, Mom, I've got so many people texting me and I don't want them to feel bad. And I said, sometimes, Grayson, you can't answer everybody. Just do a post and say thank you, to them. But he was even going on their live streams, and they, he was in like this teenage, the Chicken Girls. It was huge, 19 million followers.
Wow.
And they were just screaming, and he was like, hi. And they couldn't believe that he came on their live stream, and he was just gracious to them. And I was so proud of him.
So he's an actor?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Grayson.
He is an actor.
He's amazing.
Grayson, what's his name?
Grayson Thorne Kilpatrick.
Okay. I'll have to look him up.
He has a
Excellent
Stars
actor.
TV series coming out soon.
He has a what series?
Stars series. He just was
Stars.
in the
Okay.
Netflix series, The Menendez Brothers Monsters Season 2.
Oh.
So he loves it.
How old is he?
I can't believe this. He's 20. He'll be 21 April Fools.
Oh, that's great. I love that date. And we have to say goodbye as usual. Time flies when we're on this show.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for having me.
so
I'm
much.
so blessed.
Yes, it
Thank you for
was
coming,
lovely.
Sherry.
It was
Thank
lovely.
you, Ricky.
And as usual, love you, Ricky. And let's do this is how I sign out of every show. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out,
Peace in.
world peace through inner peace. And then
Aw.
Ricky, take us out, please.
Everyone, go out and have the best weekend ever.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.